Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
That's what I tell them. I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. How to code, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles. Compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles. Go take care of your business. Success Chronicles. It's deeper than just winning. Success Chronicles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with another episode. Today we have Jyotsna Ramachandan with us, coming to us from India, a great lady that's involved in self-publishing as a business and doing some really neat things, helping lots of people. And so thankful to have her on this episode. So first off, thanks for taking the time to interview with the Success Chronicles.
Thank you so much, Chip, for having me on the Success Chronicles.
Yes, well, let's dive into it. I know off air we talked a little bit about your journey and your story. If you don't mind sharing your story with the audience and tracking your journey till now.
Sure, Chip. So about 9 years ago, I used to work in the retail industry. Back then in India, all these international brands from the US and Europe were setting up their shops in India. So retail was a very promising career. So I worked in that industry for 5 years till I got burnt out and kind of bored. And I decided to quit my job and see if I could start something on my own because I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. That was like a secret wish I had from childhood. So I thought, let me just make use of this sabbatical I'm taking from work to start something. If it works well, great. If not, I can always find another job. But luckily, the very next month, I started a staff recruitment agency for the retail industry I used to work in. And that picked up really well. And I was running that successfully for 2 years when the biggest change happened in my life and I became a mom. That's when I realized I cannot be doing the same things that I was doing before because now I have a new responsibility and I need to change my lifestyle to suit this new change. So I realized I wanted to do something which will completely let me work from home so I can have my baby by my side and I can still not lose out on a few years of my career. So I actually thought if I should take a break, but I thought, let me try if I can set up an online business that can help me work from home. So while I was just Googling how to make money online, I came across a lot of blogs and podcasts that were talking about self-publishing on Amazon. And that really got me very curious. I took up a lot of online courses to learn how this works, Kindle publishing and all of that. Mm-hmm. And that's how I started to publish books on Amazon. So this was about 6 years ago. I would just find interesting topics. I did not have the confidence to write them myself. I would hire writers to write it for me. They were like typical ghostwriters, and I would just put a nice pen name on it and I would publish books. So I did this for about 6 months. I published 50 titles on Amazon in 6 months. And that gave me the money that I needed to shut down my other business and completely focus on this. But somewhere it did not give me the fulfillment because these were not the books that I wrote. In fact, I did not even read many of those books myself. So I thought, okay, at least I have a good journey as an entrepreneur for about 3-4 years. So why not put all of this together in the form of a book myself and share my story? So that's how I wrote my first book, Job Escape Plan. And that changed everything for me, Chip, because after I put out my message, people got to know about what I do, and they reached out to me and asked, could you help us also to publish our books? And that gave me the idea to start Happy Self-Publishing, which is my current business. We've been doing this for the last 5 years. We've helped more than 500 authors from 35 countries, helping them take their idea or a rough manuscript and put it into a published book. So that's what I've been doing now.
That's awesome. Such a cool journey. It's neat when you can take the things that you've been blessed to learn in your life and use those to help others, because now you're not doing things just for you. What you're doing is like generational change and everlasting. I think it's awesome.
Thanks, Chip, because initially I did not realize it. For me, it was all about having a steady income to support my family. But
Yeah.
now, if I look back at my journey, I realize that my book did not just help me, but after that, through Happy Self Publishing, I've helped a lot of these authors realize their dreams, and each of their books are being read by hundreds of people every day. That's when I understood the kind of ripple effect my work is creating.
So good. So good. Well, what are 3 things you've accomplished in your life that you're proud of?
Uh, that I'm really proud of. All right. I think one of the things initially is to marry my husband, Dr. Girish Kumar, because I think that was one fantastic decision I took, which has shaped my life the way it is right now, marrying the person you love. So in India, things are very different. We still live in a society where arranged marriage, I
Mm,
don't know if you've heard of that term.
yeah.
So that's the
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
common thing. So your parents decide whom you're supposed to marry. But of course, a lot of people are finding their own partners. But I thought it's going to be a tough task to make my parents agree for letting me marry this guy that I love. But it just went so well. My parents loved him and they agreed. His parents also agreed. So I think that was the most courageous thing I took in my early decision I took in my early 20s that I'm
Mm,
really proud of right now. The second thing I would say is to quit my job and decide that I'll never go back to a job again. Uh, so initially I didn't have that clarity of decision, but once I started my first business, the kind of freedom it gave me, I did not have to ask the permission of a boss to go on a holiday anymore. So that made me decide that come what may, I will somehow make this work and I'm not going to go back to a job. So that's probably the second thing that I'm really proud of. And the third thing would be writing my book, my own book, rather than depending on ghostwriters to put out books for me. I just believe that I should authentically share my story because and back then, if you notice, Chip, I was not a super successful entrepreneur, not even as successful as I am today.
mm.
But had I compared myself with all the other super successful people, I would have really felt pathetic about myself and I wouldn't have taken that decision. But I just thought I have at least done certain things that can be inspirational to people who are still struggling in a job that they hate. So my goal was just to inspire 100 people through my book. But I'm so glad that the book went on to become a bestseller, got listed on Inc.com as one of the top 10 books of that year. So all that happened because of that decision I took to be vulnerable enough to share my journey.
That's awesome. Yeah, that vulnerability helps a lot. I think it helps. Yes, it helps other people, but it helps you grow through things that you go through and learn and live. So I think it's awesome when we can do that.
Sure.
Yeah. So the next thing, I mean, just hearing your journey, hearing your cool journey, hearing the things that you're proud of, I would consider all of that to be hugely successful. So, um, what is your definition of success?
This is such a great question, Chip. I think uh, success is making the best use of the skills and resources we have at that point of time in our life, right? I think all of us are in our own paths and journeys. So comparing my first step with somebody else's 100th step would be foolish. So within whatever stage of life I am at right now, with whatever is available at my disposal, if I just make good use of that, be it my time, be it the money that I have, be it the skills that I have, if I can just put the best use of all these things and do it as per my satisfaction, I think that is success for me.
Love it. I'm sorry, I was paused a little bit because I had to write that down. That was good.
You
Making,
just make me feel like a celebrity, Chip. You're really taking a lot of notes. I love
hey,
it.
hey, I am. I got almost 2 pages already. No. Making the best use of the skills and resources we have at the time of our life. And it's so true. I think, you hit on about the comparison game. I think,
Hmm.
if you get into the comparing game, me versus that person, my first step versus that person's 100 step. Well, you'll never feel like you're good enough.
Yeah,
But
so
really,
true, especially due to social media, where we follow so
yes,
many people on Instagram and Facebook who are doing all the cool things. out there. But I always, whenever I feel that hint of jealousy or I feel that I'm not good enough, I just remind myself that that is just a moment from their life and that's not their life in total. So I could be having a lot of great moments in my life, which I probably am not putting out there. That does not make me less successful from somebody else. So I think the social media makes all of us feel less successful than what we are actually, because we constantly compare ourselves with others. But I think that's one thing we should be conscious of.
Without a doubt. Well, before we get off, if you don't mind, speaking of social media, if you don't mind sharing your information with everybody so they can go check you out and show you some love.
Oh, sure. So I'm sure a lot of the listeners right now may have the aspiration of writing their book someday. They may just have that idea, or they may already have the manuscript and don't know what to do next. So I would love to point everyone towards my website, which is happyselfpublishing.com. And I have a cool assessment that our listeners can take. So this is like a set of 15 questions. And once you answer that, you get something called your author success score. Speaking of success, I think that will be a cool a number to be aware of, so that you know where do you currently stand and what do you need to do to increase your success rate as an author. So that's a free assessment that I would love to share.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, again, I just want to say thanks so much for taking the time to interview with the Success Chronicles. Truly appreciate it, and I wish you continued success.
Thank you so much, Chip, for this opportunity and asking me such great questions that made me think really deep. So thanks a lot.
All right. Well, keep doing your thing. And thank you guys for checking out this episode. We'll see you next time. God bless. Go get it.